Anderson Silva is one of the best pound-for-pound UFC fighters in UFC history, and some would argue that he is the best. If you've followed his career like I have, you'll remember that in UFC 168 he suffered a devastating leg injury after Chris Weidman checked his kick perfectly. Despite how devastating his leg injury looked, however, he was able to come back and fight Nick Diaz in just over 2 years later. How's it going, UFC fans? My name is Nick Gallo, and I'm a doctor of physical therapy. My goal with this video today is to try to explain the injury in terms that the common fan can understand, and also go over some of the benefits of physical therapy for a person that has an injury similar to this. If you liked today's video and found it helpful and informative, please hit that subscribe button below because I will be making more videos on common sports injuries, professional sports injuries, and all types of physical therapy related content. Let's go ahead and we'll take a look at the injury firsthand in real time.
Get his timing down and launch shots. There's a good shot to the body. Oh, nice. Oh, no! He hurt his leg, and it is all over. Anderson hurt his leg when the kick was checked, and Weidman remains the champion. He broke his leg. Anderson fractured his leg. John Danaher, oh my God.
Anderson Silva's leg breaks instantly as Chris Weidman blocks it right here. Not realizing what has happened, Anderson Silva, directly after his leg breaks, takes a step back and actually briefly puts weight through it. This is when he stumbles and falls to the mat in agonizing pain. So what happened in the actual injury? Well, Anderson Silva actually fractured his tibia and his fibula. These are two long bones located in the lower leg, and they extend from the knee to the ankle. The larger one of these two bones is the tibia, and it's commonly referred to as the shin. The top of the tibia connects to the bottom of the knee joint, and the bottom of the tibia creates the inside, also known as the medial portion of the ankle joint. The fibula, on the other hand, is the smaller of the two bones, and it runs directly parallel to the tibia. The top of the fibula runs up to the knee joint, but does not actually form a part of the knee joint itself, unlike the tibia. The bottom of the fibula runs to the ankle, and it creates the outside, also known as the lateral portion of the ankle. If you feel around this area of your leg, you'll feel a bony knob, and that's actually the end of the fibula as well. Although the fibula is not used to bear much weight like the tibia, it is very important when it comes to stabilization of the lower leg. The surgery that Silva had right after his injury is known in the medical community as an intramedullary rod, or also known as an IM nail for short. This is typical for long bone injuries such as the tibia. The rod enters at the top of the tibia, extending down to directly right above the ankle. Once the rod is in place, it is then stabilized with screws above and below where the fracture is to prevent rotation of the bone during healing. In Anderson Silva's case, although both the tibia and the fibula were broken, this procedure was only done to his tibia because the surgeon felt like the fibula was going to heal on its own. Now, directly after a surgery like this, a person is going to be very limited in the amount that they can do. This is done to make sure that the leg heals properly and to make sure they don't injure themselves further. If a person is referred to physical therapy during this time frame, typically the physical therapist is going to help them learn how to use an assistive device, whether it be a wheelchair, crutches, walker, depending on the person's prior function. Due to Anderson Silva being a professional athlete, he has no problem maneuvering with crutches. Simple range of motion exercises can be done to the joints above and below. However, you want to make sure that the area involved is going to be as immobile as possible. This picture of Silva early in the rehab process shows him doing non-weight bearing exercise. As a person can go from non-weight bearing to partial weight bearing to weight bearing as tolerated, then the physical therapist is going to be weaning them slowly off of their assistive devices. Once the person is weaned fully off of their assistive device, it is important that the physical therapist teaches them how to walk properly again, as well as addressing any other issues that the person has with the leg, such as range of motion, strength, or balance. Typically, a person will go from non-weight bearing to partial weight bearing status, and then from partial weight bearing status to full weight bearing status. Here we see Anderson Silva nearly 2 months after the accident and surgery beginning to bear weight on his lower leg. Most likely his leg showed enough healing that the doctor felt like he could start walking again. As the affected areas start to heal, then physical therapy can be progressed a little bit more, slowly but surely. Here we see Silva working the heavy bag a little bit, getting more into sport-specific motions while bearing more weight on that other leg. Here on March 1st, we see Anderson Silva get back into grappling again. Here we see Anderson Silva do very light kicks with a soccer ball to help him get used to that muscle memory of throwing a kick and to help him get over the mental aspect of being hurt. A week after that, they've progressed Silva to kicking a theraball with a little more force. Nearly 3 months after injury, we see Silva work the heavy bag again. However, this time he throws a leg kick. Here in mid-May of 2014, we see that he is finally drilling kicks with the pad. At this point, Silva is 4.5 months after the injury. So why did Anderson Silva's leg break this time when he threw the kick? We've seen him throw this kick numerous times throughout his career. Why was this one particularly different? The best way to answer this is to take a look at the video one more time. We see in the slowdown clip that it's not actually the front of Silva's tibia that makes contact with Weidman's leg, it's actually the side. This is significant because fighters will typically condition their shins to make the bone thicker from front to back, however not from side to side, making it very vulnerable if an impact is absorbed in this direction. The location of the impact is also significant in this case because the top of the tibia is actually significantly thicker compared to the bottom or more distal part of the bone. This combined with the angle that Silva's leg absorbed the impact is most likely the reason why the leg broke instantly. So that's all I have to say about the Anderson Silva leg injury. I hope you found this video very helpful and informative, and if you have any questions or comments, please do that below. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.